definitely credit, you know, the BTA for the outreach work that they did, and going to every neighborhood association, business association, talking about the project was a really positive thing. It's nice to have somebody other than the city doing that. The other piece about it is we added, we flipped 19 stop signs. You have the example of where we are now, and you know that's a lot to do. A lot of times neighbors are really like the way the stop signs are set up, and that can be a challenge. So it was great that we didn't get more pushback on that. In addition to that, we added over 30 speed bumps in the corridor, and that was something I was personally a little bit nervous about, just because you hear people grousing about, I don't like riding over speed bumps, but I think in general, I don't know what other people's experience was, but you just start to not notice it. I mean, it's, you know, it's
awesome.
Yeah, so I think that's been a really positive thing as well. There is a couple additional diverters that we'd like to put in that we didn't have funding for. Some of that's been raised by issues of the last Thursday event and the amount of traffic that goes down to going. And so we'd really like to protect the street from that. But in general, I mean, probably you know, one of the nicest parts of one of the public meetings we had was there was a younger kid that was at the meeting that was, you know, on a fixie bike, just kind of fit that, you know, kind of, you know, more aggressive riders on a stereotype. And some of the people there were like, you know, kind of grousing about flipping stop signs. And he basically said, listen, I'll quit riding on Prescott. I won't ride on Prescott as much if you guys take rid of some of these stop signs. And the guy who was sitting next to him said, deal, and shook his hand. We had those kinds of interactions, so it was really positive. I can answer any questions.
Did you get any pushback from the fire bureau about the speed bumps?
No, we didn't ongoing because it's not an emergency response route. We are actually, I just went out last week with fire out to Vancouver and looked at some of their speed cushions. And so we're looking at those, like the Boulevard or Greenway project we're building in Southwest on Vermont. We really need a speed bump that we can put on emergency response routes. So we are digging into that a little bit more. But in this route, because it's not on the system, they were fine. Beer?
Yeah, a couple of questions. One question.
So, how much did all of this cost? Not counting the diverters you didn't have money for, and I assume the signal at police.
Right. I don't have the number right in my head, though I should, but it's in the, you know, the few $100,000. So it's super. I mean, it definitely gets down at less than that $250,000 a mile. I mean, part of what helped is we had the federal project that was putting the sharrows in, so you know, that'd be another cost that we want to identify as well. But, you know, speed bumps at $2,500 pop. Stop sign flipping, you know, in a whole intersection, that's probably $1,000. So it's pretty inexpensive. The median island, the two most expensive parts of the project by far, and I'm sure it's as expensive as probably the whole rest of the project, is 30-30 going treatment, which is one of the examples of the $20 million BES Jumpstart funded projects, and then the island at MOK. Those would be the two most expensive parts. And somebody mentioned pavement quality. I know that was an issue that the BTA raised too when they were doing outreach around the project. So we are planning to do some follow-up work where we'll deal with some of the worst areas for paving. That'll be something, we're actually doing a little pilot project this winter to look at paving treatments for boulevards, how we can make that work. So we might do, not repave the whole street, but repave some sections, almost similar to like you see like a utility pad or something like that. That's something we're kind of exploring more.
Like that one line?
Yeah, well, similar, but probably wider. And then there's also some sections where it's just the edge of the street is in such disrepair that we just need to do edge paving work as well.
Beer? Yeah. Beer. All right, we're going to go going to Williams, to Failing, to Mississippi, to beer.